Welcome everyone to another day of blade&soul Korea Finals. We are at day 6 of our event and we're going to be hosting the final stage of the quarterfinals. And before we move on to the semifinals next week, my name is Joe Sophie. Along with me is Any Life as always. We've gotten through 5 days so far. We've gotten a glimpse of views from the challengers teams and also a few glimpses of the championship teams so far. So how do you feel about the team so far?
Well, I feel good because they performed well, especially yesterday. The champions, the two champion teams, GC Busan Blue and IDEPS, they showed a phenomenal, best of 7.
Definitely,
it was
yeah.
super close. I didn't expect IDEPS to be that much prepared against GC Busan Blue, but amazing yesterday.
They were really competitive yesterday. We didn't think they were going to put up that much of a fight, but in the early parts of that series, after we got through around Game 4, IDES was definitely on the winning end of it, and it just seemed like GC Busan Blue kind of lost hope around the middle parts of that, but being the GC Busan Blue that they have always been, they found strength to somehow come back to that series and really pick out a win for themselves once again. So kudos to these guys, and they're already made up in the semifinals. And we also saw IDEPS in the end pick out the win to cement themselves in the semifinals as well. But we're gonna do the exact same thing for you guys. We did it for Group A. We will be doing for Group B the same action. If you saw yesterday's matches, it will be happening for these Group B counterparts as today. But you see the overview with the schedule that we have. We just gotten through yesterday's schedule with the quarterfinals, and we will be presenting the 6th of August, which is today. It's going to be the last day of this quarterfinals before we move on to the semifinals, like we mentioned, that will be happening next week.
Yep, and as you see the standings right now, this is yesterday's outcome. GC Busan Blue placed first, got the first seed, IDEP second, and today, like Joel mentioned, it will proceed the same way as yesterday with the Group A, but with Group B, with well, today you'll see on the screen very soon, but I'm just gonna tell you anyways. We'll have Kureta versus GC Busan Red first, which will be best of 7. First to 6 points, and then the second match will be GFAM versus Oh, the two Gs are going up against each other. The GFAM and G-Touring best of 4, and the winners of the first match will take the first seed.
Automatically.
And the loser of the winner, here we go. So loser of the first match will wait and see who wins the second match against GFAM and G-Touring, and the winner of that will verse the loser of the first match, blah, 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 so on and so forth.
So, there's a indication here that it just seems like Kureta is facing against GFAM, but the schedule today is actually, as you see here on the screen, it is going to be Kureta versus GC Busan Red, as you mentioned. And it will be the two powerhouses that are clashing against each other. And one of the significant things that we have to mention about these two teams is that they really did see a roster change. A very significant one, losing out a key member and hopefully adding in a key member, a new one as well. So these two roster changes might have changed the dynamics of the flow of these two teams and how they operate their games. But we're gonna see these two teams, fairly new teams, in the matter of roster. But we're gonna see how that actually changed them once we actually get into the match. Yeah,
especially Kureta's former Hyungkyu Kim, the assassin player from Kureta, went to GC Busan Red, and they are facing each other today. So, let's see if Kureta got some grudge against Hyungkyu Kim, if they're gonna, maybe during tag interfere in only when Hyungkyu Kim's on the field or something. I don't know. It will be fun.
You never know. Hyungkyu Kim might have the same mindset for the other two players as well. So, a fight could go either way, and those things are really what makes Blade so interesting because they do see roster changes more often than not, and when these things happen, you do already know the teammates that you formerly had, and you know them inside out. So once you kind of face them as opponents now in this important part of the event, it's going to be a very interesting thing to how they react to each other, especially with Kureta's former member, I should say, with Hyungkyu Kim. Now in GC Busan Red, he's going to be up to a new challenge, facing up against a very star-like players that the other two players that Kureta actually is.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also very excited for the two G teams, GFAM and G-Touring. You guys probably know G-Touring also had a roster change recently, and they added Young-Un Che, the assassin. He's been with a couple of other teams previously, but I think he fits best with G-Touring.
I believe so, because the last team that he was on with Unknown, of course it was a new team, and they did fairly well for what we consider them to be a rookie team. But just other than that, I think fitting is a very important
Yeah.
word to discuss because Young-hoon Chae, he was seemingly the hard carry of that team unknown, and he had to do all the slack of really carrying his team to the next level. So that was his job that he had to do in Team Unknown. But now here in G-Tour, he has very experienced players, and his teammates are very formidable in the fact that they can support him as well. So we saw in the previous 2 weeks that we saw this G-Touring, the new part of this team, but they did really, really well with this new roster change.
Yeah, exactly. And, GFAM kind of, they've been together throughout the whole season, like Season 1, Season 2, no roster changes. Yes, they were formerly SWAT, and there was no Min Jung-oh last year.
Yeah.
But so you could kind of consider it a roster change, but they've been together rather than having any recent roster changes. And it seems like we are getting ready for the first match. Coup d'etat on screen right now.
And Coup d'etat is a team that we also like to talk about because that roster change we don't like to mention often is Yeonu Kim there. It's actually a team that we've been talking about with G-Touring.
Yeah.
That's with a former team that he was on. But he's into this new team after they had disbanded from their team after that previous season and found himself in this empty slot that Hyung Kim went to GC Busan Red for. So emptying that space really allowed Yeonu Kim to find his spot and create a new type of synergy with these other two players who are very well known for their singles matchups.
Yeah, and look at the class, what they call it?
Hyung-Kwon?
No, the registered classes. Yeonu Kim has just Blade Dancer. That's it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Because the other two have 7 to 8 registered, and I know for a fact that both of them could play all those 7 to 8 characters.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Yeonu Kim could play more than a Blade Dancer, but he just, I'm just gonna stick with the Blade Dancer.
More competitive,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm most comfortable. That's my comfort zone. But it just, registering just one when the other two has 7 to 8, it just looked cute. And
but definitely Hyung-Kwon and Shin Kyung Kim are those players you always do mention. They have been in that legendary status from a long time ago, and they're they can play all 7 to 8 classes. And as you guys know, 8 classes is without that gunner, the new class that has been introduced. That is all of the classes that is available with the 8 class, and when Hyung-Kwon can play it all, it just means that he's very confident in the way he approaches things. But this is GC Busan Red.
Yep, on screen we have Hyung Kim also has 6 classes put down.
Yeah.
Whereas Junohan and Sungjin Choi, they have 2 to 3, but
they're really good at it.
Look at Junohan's eyebrows. He's angry today.
Did he get the angry eyebrows?
He got the semi-angry.
Oh, I missed it a little bit, but
he has a semi.
Oh,
that's not the full. That's not the full.
I'll be willing. You can kind of see that little bit of eyebrow, his real eyebrow under that. So that good drawing from that. But GC Busan Red trying to make a statement.
That's real eyebrows.
A real eyebrow. Oh, do we want to say it's a real eyebrow? All right. So
no, I don't want to say it. It's a fact. It's real eyebrows. What are you talking about? He's been like this since like 4 years ago.
I want to get the camera close up so I can prove you wrong. But but as it is right now, it is real eyebrows, and Junohan trying to make a statement with his appearance onto this other team, because GC Busan Red and Coup d'etat, as we have mentioned in the beginning of this broadcast, is that they have been very talented players and very popular players because of their skills that they have shown before this format changed into the mix and match. And once we saw, Shin Kyung Kim, Junohan, Sungjin Choi, the World Destroyer, and all these players that you see on the screen, they have been just household names for what blade&soul really represents in Korea. But now for these two teams to get along and fight their way into this next part of this semifinal, it's going to be an interesting one. The game 1 is actually, we're going to saw Yeonu Kim and the Hyung Kim, both the new players of this team. They're going to be facing off against each other in game 1.
This is very important for both of them. It's like, they are both champion stage teams. And Yeonu Kim and Hyung Kim, as Joe mentioned, are the 2 new players that's been added to the roster for each team. And, they both want to win to prove to their teammates that, they are worthy of the team.
Who is the better new guy ending? That's the question we are asking here. So, Shin Kyung Kim and Hyung-Kwon, they had not that much trust, according to the interview, whether it was honest or whether it was trying to be jokingly. But they did express some disconfidence towards Yeonu Kim. Whether he improved that, we have to see. But we saw GC Busan Red's interview on the other hand, where Junohan and Sungjin Choi were really happy with how the Hyung Kim were contributing to their team. But game 1 will be heading right underway, so we'll get the match right underway. Let's get it on. First match of day 6 is underway with Myung Kim on the Blade Dancer on the left for coup d'etat, and Hyungyu Kim will be on his usual assassin for GC Busan Red.
Ooh, backstep to dodge that.
The quick landmine. It's not gonna be popped now. Puts the flower down in case that escape does come up. Puts that waiting down, gets the initial strike onto Myung Kim. So Hyungyu Kim on the initial strike, he does force out the tab escape already. So it's a good chance for him now, putting down the bombard, double bombard onto the aerial. It's going to be putting on more damage. The landmine is planted, it's going to be popped for another knockdown. Myung Kim is without that tab escape for the next 20 seconds or so. So Hyungyu Kim is liking this situation and tries to go forward with it even more, but does get Phantom Grip.
Yep. And the flower is still down, but he has no chance to use it yet. But you know, Hyungyu Kim he's not in too much of a dangerous spot right now.
Yeah. Oh, but it's actually a very good
he does take
combo.
A lot, he does take a lot of damage.
Myung Kim using that usual Blade Dancer combo onto the lightning draw for that additional damage. So now the HP is sort of even between two sides. Gets him into another aerial. So Myung Kim doing a good job right now. Double aerial will come out. He will not have the lightning draw this time around. Gets the Phantom Grip instead. The stun will go to the bombard. This might be Hyungyu Kim's turn to make his move, and stun is going up. And he doesn't have a but it's actually the other way around. Hyungyu Kim putting it back. Will this be enough damage? And it is. And Myung Kim, despite being behind for majority of the early game, he does find the crucial stuns near the end. We mentioned that both players did not have the tab escape available, so it was the matter of who found that first stun into that damage, and Myung Kim found it enough damage to finish him off.
Exactly. What happened, I'm pretty sure they're going to show it in the replay. So there was a moment when they were both out of tab escapes, and they were playing it a little passive, trading blows, and then they got both of them got their tab escapes back, and from then on, like that was like mid-game. From then on, it was a fight of who gets rid of the opponent's tab escape first. And right now, you saw that both of them used it at the same time. This is kind of early in the game.
It is.
So after this, they get it back, and then Myung Kim is able to get it out first. I hope it shows. I hope it shows.
It is a crucial moment near the end when the tab escapes are both gone on both sides, and that really just opened up the opportunity for both sides to really try to go for that crucial stun, as we mentioned.
So soon, So here they both get tab escapes back, and Myung Kim is doing a fair amount of damage, and he tab escapes out here. And that was you can't tab escape first when it's almost at the end. And he knows.
So that was a stun right there.
You give Myung Kim the chance. When he has his tab escape, then, even though you're an assassin, you're not going to have a way out if you're out of tab escapes.
And definitely ending, we have to mention about Hyungyu Kim's playstyle. He's always been that macho man, really going aggressive at all times, and he's never really the kind to back out of any situation. So, going in first, I felt like Myung Kim sort of reacted to that kind of playstyle and really had to go on that aggressive end of his mindset. So, good job of Myung Kim to reacting to that specific type of play, and Hyungyu Kim, he was gonna go the same way no matter what.
Yep, and look on the screen.
Oh, it's a big match coming up in the game 2 with Hyungwoo Kwon on the Destroyer. As we expect, Myung Kim is gonna be on the Blade Dancer, so automatically Hyungwoo Kwon without. He was on the Destroyer, So with
so Hyungwoo Kwon's not on the Blade Dancer.
Yeah, he's on the Destroyer. So I think it's a very it makes a lot of sense because Myung Kim coming in the team as a Blade Dancer, so he's gonna be the main Blade Dancer for the team. So with Hyungwoo Kwon, you guys have seen him on the Blade Dancer do really well on it, but his secondary position is the Destroyer. So that's what he is going to be maining for and really trying to contribute that in the singles as well as attack. But the second match will come right underway. It's going to be against Juno Han on the Warlock. So it's going to be an interesting match too between Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red. We're going to get the match right underway. Let's get it on. Hear a lot of cheer for both sides. They're very popular teams composed of very popular players, and these two players are definitely not out on the list. Hyungwoo Kwon on the Destroyer will be facing Juno Han on the Warlock. So Juno Han right now ranks #1 in the crease over the last time we checked. So he's been working on that individual skills. So singles should be his strongest asset.
Ooh, look at all the damage Hyungwoo Kwon is taking.
As we speak of that, the #1 rank finishes him off in 10 seconds. The angry eyebrows is on.
Yes!
And he is definitely feeling it with his teammates.
He feels it.
Look at him. He's a very, very confusing situation for Hyuk-Kwon as well. He did not expect that to come. Oh, Junohan's feeling it right now. He's really just wants to win out the series, getting the cheer from the fans, and just rightfully so. Just a clean dominance from Junohan against a very strong opposition of Hyuk-Kwon.
He looks very happy right now.
He's
But you know,
satisfied.
as you know, this is the first game of the champion stage team, so it will be best out of 7.
Yeah.
Just remember for you know, those of you who joined in late, this is best out of 7, first to 6 points. And you know, unfortunately for Hyuk-Woo, he came out with the Fury build, you know, attempting to just take out Junohan's tab escape and just do tons of damage, but he ended up taking the damage instead.
And we always know that
Juno.
the Fury build with the Destroyer is a very risky build where you have you really give up that the survivability that a Destroyer naturally has, but in exchange for more damage, if you do get the opportunity. So he took that risk, Hyuk-Kwon, but took that risk against his hand as he died up very cleanly against Junohan.
Exactly, and now we are, you know, each team has 1 point apiece. We are going to be getting ready for our third match, which is tag match, which is worth 2 points.
And I'm definitely excited for what Junohan is going to bring onto the stage with this tag match. He seems very stoked about this matchup in general, and just what he can bring with that Warlock will be a crucial contributor for GC Busan Red against Coup d'etat. But Coup d'etat, we still haven't seen Shingyun Kim and what he's going to do on this tag match or what he's going to do in this series overall. So it's going to be a lot of question marks that will be answered with this Game 3 coming up your way. So Sungjin Choi, also you'll see him for the first time, most likely on the Destroyer, if not the Blade Dancer. So it's going to be a very interesting game thing, and we will move right on to that without any questions. And when Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red, Game 3 will be coming up very soon.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see what Shingyun Kim will bring out. Oh yeah, he's on the Soul Fighter, yes.
Yeah.
So before that came up, I was going to say, you know, I'm excited to see what he's going to bring up because of that roster change. Because, you know, when Hyungju Kim was on Coup d'etat, he was the assassin. So Shingyun Kim had the luxury of picking a support or even maybe a Warlock to damage.
Right.
But now, Byung-Woo Kim came in with the Blade Dancer and they got rid, or, you know, they lost an assassin. So now Shingyun Kim has more burden on his shoulder as the damage dealer.
But as the Game 3 music does change, we're going to move right along. The Soul Fighter with Shingyun Kim, will that be the difference maker between Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red? We will find out soon enough. Let's get it on. Continue on with what you've been mentioning, ending, is that Shingyun Kim on the Soul Fighter is a statement maker as to the support that you're making. They have to send out a Warlock, which is going to be Hyuk-Kwon this time around. So Hyuk-Kwon is going to take that leash into that teammate composition, but you know they have to have Shingyun Kim now as the main damage dealer.
Well, I thought that would have been it, but you know, seeing Hyuk-Kwon on the Warlock, that's just
God, Junohan! Oh, that scream
is not
coming
going to
from the
have a
crowd.
chance against Junohan as a Warlock mirror, because Junohan is definitely more experienced with the Warlock compared to Hyuk-Kwon.
And perhaps Hyuk-Kwon thought that switching out from the Destroyer onto the Warlock would have give him a little more chance, but obviously not, as you know, he does get him into the shackles up in the air, but no much damage coming from it. But now trying to put the damage with the interfere coming in, but the reactionary one comes in from GC Busan Red with that Destroyer as well. So Hyuk-Kwon in a bit of a struggle that he has to overcome if he wants to give his team a win.
Yeah, and you know, Hyuk-Kwon being on the Warlock, he definitely took the role of the main damage dealer rather than, you know, Shingyun Kim taking on that role. But you know, on the Soul Fighter, and when Shingyun Kim touches a class, it's oh my god,
Hyuk-Kwon! Enough damage by Finny knocking him out, but he does tag out into towards Shingyun Kim on that Soul Fighter. Shingyun Kim has to make work due to this experience. Oh, he's gonna start now putting in that damage onto Hyungju Kim, who actually did come in on that tag as well. So one tag point being used by both sides so far. So Shingyun Kim, his team needs a lot of help, and this might be the beginning of that action. One damage and then interfere.
You interfered in with like 5% health. You don't do that. You know that.
Oh my goodness! And Hyuk-Kwon should have known better that this wasn't the situation coming for the interfere. Hyunwoo Kim coming in to interfere would have been a lot better choice to go with, but now even Shingyun Kim is on the slimmest of health now, and Junohan is going to be making this work and tries to at least get a tag point out of it again.
Yeah, Shingyun Kim is gonna stay out because he does get his tab escape back. However, yeah, there we go. There's a tag. Hyogo Kwon dying with 1 tag and 2 interferes. Such early, like not even 3 minutes into the game. That is crucial for coup d'etat.
And Juno Han, he's putting out damage as we speak. He's doing all the damage. He has been putting out 300% damage onto every player of the side of coup d'etat. And Shingyun Kim is left with 20% health against the 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, Shingyun Kim is gonna try to do his best to do, as much damage, and he is doing some damage, but not good enough against a 1v3 right now.
And GC Busan Red, they know they're in a completely comfortable position right now. All they have to do is manage their interfere points and use that crucial damage, and that will be it as we speak. And GC Busan Red, they do not look like an even team to coup d'etat.
Yeah, GC Busan Red takes the first tag of set 3, which makes the points 3-1, and it seems like Hyogo Kwon is kind of like numb. I should say he's like kind of numb in the head right now because him losing his first singles in such a fast, clean fashion by Juno Han, and coming into tag, he interferes in and dies, and the rest of his team gets melted by Juno Han.
But the argument I want to make with that ending is that on the other hand, it was Juno Han with the angry eyebrows.
Oh yeah, I can't argue with that. He has the angry.
This is Juno Han that we have not seen in all of Season 2.
Yeah.
We've seen him perform consistently well, and he knows has been a contributor to the team at all times. But this hard carry Juno Han in this current state of blade&soul esports, it's something that we haven't seen from him for a very long time.
Oh, exactly. And Hyogo Kwon right now, he interferes in and he dies.
Oh my god.
I don't know. He's a warlock. Maybe he thought for a second that he was on his destroyer or his blade dancer, so he wanted to come in and use the party buff or party skill to save his teammate. But he was on the warlock, and when you're on the warlock with 5 to 10% health, you don't interfere in like that the way he did.
Definitely Hyogo Kwon trying to play with fire, starting from the single when you build the Fury build onto that destroyer and getting knocked off early. And I guess with the warlock, you're trying to get the time distortion to give that tab escape back to his teammate, but it's just so much risk that you're taking with such little health available. You know that the interfere could reactionary come in from the side of GC Busan Red and knock you off immediately. And that eyebrows, I'm telling you, they're doing work right now. Yeah,
the eyebrow power is definitely working for them. You saw how hyped Juno was because he is in the serious mode. We mentioned this yesterday, Joel. Same thing with Group A and same thing with right now Group B. If you lose, you are knocked out. There's no more second chances today.
Yeah.
So right now they are the champion stage team, so they might have, it's the best out of 7, and even if they lose here, they have another chance to go up against a challenger team for the second seed later on. However, if you end up losing, you're done. Like So today is the last day to take the first seed and the second seed to move on to the semifinals.
And it is definitely the case with 3-1 currently towards the side of GC Busan Red. Shingyun Kim will be out on that Soul Fighter once again. He feels somewhat confident on that class, even though many people still consider it to be not meta. And whether he wants to prove them wrong with the performance that he can show, he definitely didn't show as to the full extent that he could have shown in the tag match in Game 3. So Game 4 will be his chance to prove everybody wrong that Soul Fighter can be a valid pick in this current meta.
Exactly, and I'm just so excited to see Shingyun Kim back on the Soul Fighter, even though it has been super nerfed and the music has changed. And let's get ready to go into the fourth set. Let's get it on.
Game 4 begins between coup d'etat and GC Busan Red. GC Busan Red is currently 3-1 ahead of their opposition, and Shingyun Kim is going to have to be the difference maker here for his team as he brings out the Soul Fighter once again for this singles against the World Destroyer Sungjin Choi. And it's Sungjin Choi's first appearance in the singles for this series, so Shingyun Kim has to make something work with it. We know that mobility will be the advantage against the Destroyer, so let's see how this actually turns out, because Shingyun Kim he's gonna have to look for some kind of positive asset, giving back to his team.
Yeah, and Shingen Kim is out of his tab escape already. 22 seconds left until he gets back. However, he is a soul fighter. He has so many mobilities.
It's true.
You know, he is. I don't know if I. Yeah, he is Goku.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at that, teleporting everywhere. He does have the long range to keep his distance from the destroyer. Let's see how well Shingen Kim plays with the new nerfed soul fighter.
Yeah, and definitely the only class in Blade and Soul that is a little bit misleading with the lack of tab escape is the soul fighter. Like, even if you don't have the tab escape available, there's so many other ways that you can escape from situations. Like you see there, you can just move from place to place in an instant, and Sung Choi on the destroyer is going to be having to fight against that mobility, where the destroyer probably has one of the least mobility in the game.
Yeah, and right now, like, since it was a nerf soul fighter, usually when that aerial happens, Shingen Kim would usually change to Marshall stance and go in ground ripple.
Oh,
no!
This might be the chance.
This is not good.
The Judgment Click
This is
combo
not good.
still coming in. There's no good for this hit. Does grab him into the air and gets him to the knockup into the face, and is continuing to put on that damage. He's going to throw him up in the air, and there he goes. Shingen Kim is going to take additional damage.
The chase, tab escape.
Almost another stun. Able to connect, but the tab escape does come back in time. And Sung Choi on the offensive end now, after he knows that his opponent's lacking that tab escape. Even with that mobility, if you do get caught up in the stun, there's no way to escape that.
Yeah.
There you go. There's stun. This is a Judgment Click combo. And finally can come out. The spin will cut in. Judgment combo and to the grab, and that's gonna be more damage, putting him into the face once again. Shingen Kim, there's no way to react without the lack of escapes that he has. Another stun, and the Judgment Click with the finishing touch to finish him off. And coup d'etat. Just a devastating blow to them once again. Perhaps Shingen Kim would have been their last hope to give them another point in this singles, but just another loss for coup d'etat, and GC Busan Red is currently just running away with this series.
Yeah, and right now, like you said, they are running with 4 points on GC Busan Red side and just 1 point on coup d'etat. And next game, Game 5, is still a singles.
Yep.
Coup d'etat definitely wants to take away the momentum from GC Busan Red. They don't want to almost be swept.
Yeah.
So they have to stop this momentum that GC Busan Red is on right now. Shingen Kim, he did perform well considering the Soul Fighter nerf. However, the Soul Fighter is still the nerf was so big.
Yeah.
I don't know if even Shingen Kim could pull it off.
And that's the question I really wanted to ask you, Ending, was that the Soul Fighter, nobody else plays it.
Yeah.
And every player that we ask around, Soul Fighter is not meta whatsoever from any sense of the matter.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it is Shingen Kim, though.
Yeah.
He's a player that
Exactly.
can make the impossible possible.
That's why I had the smallest hope that maybe Shingen Kim, because it's Shingen Kim, he could pull it off.
Oh,
but
man.
it is up against the World Destroyer,
Yep.
Sung Choi, so he's not gonna get off that easy.
We spoke of Junohan being the #1 ranked in Korea server right now on this current meta, but Sung Choi is #2. Sung Choi is #2 in that ranking, so
Yeah.
GC Busan Red has the top 2 players
Yeah.
in Korea just by the rankings. So, I mean, you're trying to get that Soul Fighter to work, but when you're going up against a #2 player in Korea, it's really, really, really tough. So we saw that it didn't work out this time around, so Game 5 will be an interesting one as to who coup d'etat will send out. Hopefully get a point back to their favor, but GC Busan Red is going to be feeling very comfortable. They can't get complacent off of this.
Yeah, coup d'etat, alright, so we have Hyungwoo Kwon back out and Hyungwoo Kim. So, the first time around, Hyungwoo Kim did lose to Byung-woo Kim on the first singles. That's how coup d'etat has that 1 point. But Hyungwoo Kwon, on the other hand, lost to Junohan super fast, if you guys remember. So both of the losers of the singles on each team, Hyungwoo Kwon and Hyungwoo Kim, are coming back out. And now, if somebody is gonna lose, and if whether it be Hyungwoo Kwon or Hyungwoo Kim, they're gonna be the one who lost twice today in singles, and that's gonna hit them all.
And we're going to move right on to the last singles of this series between coup d'etat and GC Busan Red. Hyungwoo Kwon will be back out on that destroyer versus Hyungwoo Kim on the assassin. We'll get the match going right underway. Let's get it on. And it is an interesting point to really mention that Hyungwoo Kwon, his main, it has been the Blade Dancer this whole time, as far as we knew him. But he has not used that blade dancer once, even in the singles nor the tag. So but he does start off with the stun onto the Judgment Cleave into the aerial, putting him in the knockdown. And Hyung Kim is on the disadvantage, going for it. He does that body stop, trying to get that to work, but the back roll is what he's gonna opt for. The flower still down on the ground. If he chooses to use the body swap, it's gonna be happening. The bombard is gonna be the initial part of that damage. But Hyung Kwon takes a little bit of damage before that damage chain. It has been stopped.
Yeah, and Hyung-Kwon this time around does not come out with the Fury Build. He wants that 2 escape with the persistence and his tag.
Perhaps he learned from the last time that didn't work. If you were going to be the losing end, it's not going to be very crucial for you, but you want to get a point back with the spinning onto the wall. There's no escape, but Hyung Kim does use that flower to use that body swap to get the work, but that was nice. Stun.
The back roll chase happened. Hyung Kim still does have his tab escape, so just be aware he is not done yet.
But he's still taking a lot of damage with that. Tab escape still available for Hyung Kim. He was trying to wait for that stun to come in before he used that, but he took a lot of damage before he decided to make that decision. So whether it was a good decision, we'll have to find out once the game actually does end. But Hyung Kwon definitely on the winning end of this trade so far.
Yeah, and if you see, if you notice, when the camera goes back to Hyung Kwon, the golden fish is alive. You see his tail spinning, like flickering. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Hyung Kwon goes in. There we go. The tab escape is used by both sides right now.
And the stun does come out, which forces Hyung Kim to use that tab escape finally. And Hyung Kwon, a lot of HP advantage towards his way, so Hyung Kim, he has to be a little bit careful before he is knocked down in an instant. But at the same time, you have to put on the offensive end, try to get the damage in, because on the assassin, if you do get that crucial stun in, you can't get that crucial damage onto him. He just knock him down with that landmine.
Another Shadow Slash right there. They're both gonna get their tab escapes back again, so you know they will be living for the moment. There's only 1 minute.
It's going to be happening. The bombard barely connects, and that's going to be minimal damage onto it. The knockdown will happen. Whether it gets good stun, we'll have to see.
Shadow Slash.
Let's have the tab escape still available on both sides. If he chooses to use the wall, another wall slash into the wall. There's no way for him to escape unless he uses the tab escape, which he does now. So Hyung Kim is going to pull him in. The High
knocks him down.
Knocks him down. It's going to be the landmine going onto the webbing. This might be the start of the damage for him, but the bombard trying to counter that damage. Hyung Kwon without his escape. So this might be Hyung Kim's chance to really go for a little bit of aggressiveness and hopefully get that crucial stun to get a lot of damage on.
Yeah, they're both out of escapes. And Hyung Kim gets the body shot first.
Close.
But that's easy right there. Hyung Kim back roll chase.
He is the stun, and that might be it. And that is another win. This time going towards coup d'etat this time around. Hyung Kim. Hyung Kwon.
You got too excited. I understand.
Yeah, that was a very exciting few seconds because Hyung Kwon finally gets a point back for coup d'etat, and this is going to be reaching towards the next tag series coming up. But finally, coup d'etat somehow gets an answer. But Hyung Kim, we have to talk about this player though. He came back from coup d'etat, and coup d'etat, when they were performing in Season 2 and Season 1, you did mention this a few times that Hyung Kim was seemingly the worst player.
Not the weakest
player.
Not because Hyung Kim is bad.
Yeah.
But because Hyung Kwon and Shin Hyung Kim, the two players are too good. They are on the top tier of this Korean ladder, and you know they've won tournaments, placed first places. Shin Hyung Kim, 2 consecutive winner of the World Singles, you know, 2016, 2015. So you know, just because the two players are so good, it's not that Hyung Kim is bad.
Yeah. And definitely I would need a correction on that. And I think weaker is what we were trying to look for. But Hyung Kim was definitely the weaker player out of that 3. And just by result-oriented speaking here, he did lose out on the 2 singles so far and didn't contribute too much on that GC Busan Red's victory. Juno Han literally carried that tag one, so you can't say that Hyung Kim did a significant part for his team just quite yet. So as to what kind of statements these teammates are trying to make, because they need all 3 players to contribute if they want to make it to the furthest part of the stage. And this is only the first stage they're going to have to go through and make it to the semifinals, but in the end, all 3 players really do have to contribute equally for them to find the most success.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you know, I didn't want to say this before, you know, the 5th match ended. But you know, the score is 4 points towards GC Busan Red and 2 for coup d'etat. So basically, if GC Busan Red, you know, whether they lose or win the 5th match, it wouldn't have mattered, because if they win the next match, they acquire 6 points and they are able to win. So, but you know, if GC Busan Red were to win, you know, the previous match, they would keep the momentum going. However, you know, it's not too much of a big deal for GC Busan Red. However, for coup d'etat taking away that 1 point, you know, they they kind of stopped that momentum.
It's
they
true.
slowed them down. So now we are going back, starting with set 6, which is going to be worth 2 points. And if GC Busan Red were to win this, they are going to be moving up, taking over that seed 1.
And more importantly, if Junohan pulls out the same performance that he showed in the single and the first tag match of the series, it's gonna be a win towards GC Busan Red because he is hot fire when he does get on the roll. So it's the same roster that you guys already know. Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red will be the teams that are facing off in this. Might be potentially the last match of the series if GC Busan Red were to win out this one.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if Hyokwan comes out with the Warlock again. Probably because, Byung-Ho Kim is 100% on the Blade Dancer.
Yeah.
And Shin-Young Kim, I've heard him that, he wants to maybe play or stick with the Soul Fighter this time around. So if that were to happen, then they need a Warlock to do, that extra with the damage.
And it's definitely backfire for the side of Shin-Young Kim with that Soul Fighter. Whether he can make it work this time, whether he changed to a different class, we'll have to find out in Game 6, potentially the last tag match of the series. Let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. This could be the last game of the series between Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red, and Junohan is going to come out on the Warlock as the first man out, and Shin-Young Kim, once again, back on the Soul Fighter.
Yep, and Soul Fighter coming out first is what usually happened last year when Shin-Young Kim was on the Soul Fighter, and there we go with the Windstorm combo. Usually, like I mentioned last time Shin-Young Kim was out, he would go in with the ground ripple, knocks him back, and does the Dragon Blitz combo, the quote-unquote Ip Man combo. But, it's been nerfed, so now he doesn't use it as much.
Definitely,
it's the play style has changed.
It's a different Soul Fighter that Shin-Young Kim is dealing with now, and he does send out the Warlock. Hyokwan does come in for that time distortion to get his Sim Escape back, but he has to use it right away once he does get it back. So Junohan, using the resources that he has and to his advantage, he doesn't have the tap escape also, but Junohan trying to get the damage onto him, which he has been doing so far. The Blade Dancer does come in on the interfere, trying to put the lightning draw into the damage, but not much coming in yet. So Junohan tags out, putting Hyung-Ju Kim back out for GC.
So much damage right now. Oh no,
Hyokwan! That was actually not even the Shin-Young Kim's damage, but it was the Warlock interfere, putting him to that area and putting a lot of damage in the matter of 5 seconds that he was out. So Shin-Young Kim doing work, but Hyokwan probably took a lot of credit for that. So Hyung-Ju Kim already being forced to use another tag point for GC Busan Red, and now they already used 2.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that because I love disagreeing. But anyways, I want to give so much credit to Shin-Young Kim right now for staying out, making GC Busan Red use 2 tag points.
That is very true. Yeah, that is
so
very true.
You don't get tag points back.
It's true.
And Shin-Young Kim will be forced tag, or you can call it free tag because he's been out, for free. You don't have to use. There we go.
Shin-Young Kim making sort of making a statement with that new Soul Fighter. So everything he's done has been right. So he just has to continue on with this to get him a victory for his team. But just for the first appearance in this specific tag match, he's done very well.
Oh yeah, so well right now. And again, they force GC Busan Red to use another tag point. So they are all at 1 tag point. You look at Coup d'etat, they all have 2 tag points.
It is 6-3 in terms of tag points, and we know that tag points can be very crucial. We just repeat this over and over again, but
so crucial.
We can't overemphasize the importance of these resources of the tag points and the interfere points that some of them you don't even get back at the late part of the game. And we saw teams that make crucial plays off of these interferes, and just lacking those tag points just relieves of all that survivability that you could have if you did have it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but Hyokwan is taking a lot of damage from Junohan.
Yeah.
Junohan is trying to come back, revenge their teammates. Look at their health bar.
Oh, but another tag point being used on both sides now. So Junohan is left without any tag points for the next 7 minutes until the end of the game. So they have to somehow make an early game movement to get a quick finish onto Coup d'etat. But in the end, the late game will be at a disadvantage for GC Busan Red.
Yeah, not having. Oh, Shin-Young Kim is taking some damage. No escape
Joy
for now. All right, reactionary 2v2. Okay, so Shingyun Kim is on the Soul Fighter, and there we go. Waystorm, another
Warlock is coming
Soul
in
Fighter
for
combo.
Yeah, the Warlock Soul Fighter really making things work. Putting Soul Fighter on that Shingyun Kim puts him into that CC, and the Warlock comes in for that interfere to put in that additional combo with that damage. And the Assassin is now trying to make a move, but Hyungwoo Kim not making too much things work. He hasn't made anything work so far in this particular series. He's gonna have to do a lot better to give his side, GC Busan Red, the win here.
Yeah, and Shingyun Kim still has 2 interferes and a tag point.
Yep.
Hyungwoo Kim is the only one with the tag point, so if he decides to use that last tag, it will be, you know, everybody for themselves, because nobody on GC Busan Red will be able to tag out. They'll have to last until the force tag.
And definitely that other player that we haven't seen too much of in this series with Byung-Woo Kim on that Blade Dancer. We still don't know what his current condition is in this particular series, but up against Hyungwoo Kim, who has been relatively weak as well for the side of GC Busan Red, but they're trying to trade damage, puts that bombard down. Byung-Woo Kim does heal some of the HP right back.
That was a long back roll with the tab escape for that assassin just now. But anyways, yeah, Byung-Woo Kim does make Hyungwoo Kim use his tab escape, and they tag out. Hyungwoo Kwon comes in knowing that this assassin is out of all of his escape now by using that leaf just now.
Hey, but Hyungwoo Kim is still going in aggressively, putting that damage onto it. But somehow that is enough damage from the Warlock of Hyungwoo Kwon to knock out Sungjin Choi immediately. The ultimate was good enough to put enough damage to knock him out, and suddenly coup d'etat is up 3-2.
Yeah, Hyungwoo Kim interfered and tried to use the ult, but unfortunately did not connect.
Yep.
And Sungjin Choi also died during an interfere, if you guys have noticed. And, you know, Juno Han is out here right now. No tag points, as I mentioned. No one on GC Busan Red has a tag point, so they have to last until that force tag. And Juno Han still has a full minute and 20 seconds for him to be on the field, all alone.
But just comparing the two matchups that we have with Hyungwoo Kwon and Juno Han, both on the Warlock, so it's a mirror match, but definitely Juno Han has been the better Warlock in this particular series, but Hyungwoo Kwon has been doing a little bit better in this tag match that we are seeing now, putting that interfere into good use and trying to put the damage, but Juno Han takes none of that. The familiar does dance around, jumping around the field. Juno Han gets his familiar out as well.
Yep, so we do have a minute and 20 seconds left until they get their interferes back.
Will not be connecting. The ult will be connecting towards the familiar instead. So a little misclick perhaps, and could have been a better aiming towards Juno Han, but putting that damage nonetheless onto the familiar.
Yep, and if you guys notice, you know, coup d'etat does still have 1 tag point per person except Hyungwoo Kwon.
Yep.
Whereas Juno Han and Hyungwoo Kim are out of tag points, and you don't get tag points back, for those of you who may not have known. And there we go, another
ultimate is going to be connecting though. blade&soul ultimate actually getting a little bit of damage onto him as well, so Byung-Woo Kim doing a good job of trying to trade that ult and putting the damage onto both sides, but Juno Han will be out, but he's going to try to get the kill before he does go out on that force tag. He has 3 seconds to do it, but he's going to tag out just in time. Shingyun Kim is back out. The chase is definitely going to be attempted by, and does get good damage onto Hyungwoo Kim as soon as he comes up. So good job of Shingyun Kim to keeping that distance short, get that ultimate in. He's going to be trying to do something with that. Hyungwoo Kim takes a little bit of damage though.
Look at that heal by Cheapers by Shingyun Kim. This is, you know, Soul Fighter the most heals ever. End of story.
And the Juno Han actually gets the aerial and puts that damage and initiates that damage into Hyungwoo Kim's initiate as well. So Shingyun Kim is now on the Soul Fighter. He has that 1 tag point if he chooses to use it, but he's gonna have to save that for now. Try to put in as much damage to his opposition before he does go back out.
Yeah, and everybody gets an interfere point back at the 3-minute mark. However, Byung-Woo Kim and Hyungwoo Kwon both use their interfere points right away to save Shingyun Kim.
Shingyun Kim is full health once again, and this is the mantra of a Force Master and a Soul Fighter, but Soul Fighter to a greater extent, I would have to say. The heal back is real, but that's gonna go against him though once it does go to the TKO, if it does go to that stage. But Shingyun Kim is gonna be very healthy for the next 30 seconds. They have to put some damage, as much of it as possible, towards Hyungwoo Kim. He has to be knocked out.
Exactly, and coup d'etat not having an assassin and having a Soul Fighter, they probably don't want to go to the TKO because there's
Oh.
so much heals for the Soul Fighter. So
Yep.
they want to try to knock down at least 2 players.
And finally, I think Hyungi Kim is trying to make that statement
Winslow
against
combo.
his opponents, but Hyungi Kim is countering back deck
Ground
damage
ripple, there we
onto
go.
Soul Fighter.
This
This is
is
going to
what
be
I
the
like,
initial
another Winslow
combo,
combo.
and there's no way to escape that damage. It's almost
Oh,
enough, and it is
back row
enough
chase
damage.
finishes him off.
Yeah, and that is enough for that back row chase to get that damage onto Hyungi Kim, and it will be the second man knocked out for GC Busan Red. Junohan has a lot of work cut out for him now. There's 3 men still alive for coup d'etat, and Junohan is the only man left for GC Busan Red. Has to do the carry. It is possible with a Warlock, but it will be difficult nonetheless.
It will be difficult because Shingyun Kim has an interfere point, so he will be able to save Byung-Woo Kim once, at least. And there we go. With the interfere comes in, does some damage to Junohan.
But
Maybe more than some damage.
Yeah, Shinga Kim doing work now on this tag match. They will get to the 10 seconds left until that 1 minute mark, which will give them the interfere back. So that's just more advantage going towards coup d'etat because GC Busan Red has nobody to interfere with.
Yeah. And if you notice, Hyungi Kim and Sung Jin Choi, they both have their ults.
This is their chance. This is their chance for coup d'etat to finish off Junohan right here because, you know, without the interfere that Junohan can use for his teammates, this is the chance for the 2 interferes to come in straight away. Trying to put that damage. The offensive interfere will be the likely situation. And the Soul Fighter putting in that damage onto Junohan, who can't do anything. The re-knocker from the blade that's onto the lightning draw will finish him off. And coup d'etat gets that crucial 2 points in this game 6.
Wow, exactly like yesterday, we are going to be playing the full 7 sets.
It is, yeah.
Ooh, I'm so excited. It's like yesterday, GC Busan Blue versus IDEPS.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought we would have played the full 7 sets?
But if it is a full repeat of what we saw yesterday, GC Busan Red would be the IDEPS of yesterday, who were really ahead in the early parts of the series, but GC Busan Blue found their way in the late part of that series to get all those points in the end to get out the win in the series. So if your theory is true ending, the repetition should happen towards the way, and coup d'etat would get to game 7 and get to win the series.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm so excited.
It is an exciting thing.
I love it when it goes back and forth, and right now we are tied now 4-4. And Hyungi Kim early game, this time, he does live this time around, but he took too much damage, and it has only been 1 minute and 20 seconds.
And a big props out to Shinga Kim as well. You see from the early game to the mid game to the end of the game, he has done work and proved everybody wrong that Soul Fighter is still viable as long as he plays it.
Yeah, as long as he plays. Yeah, I'm so happy that you
that's the
added
big
that
mark,
on. As long as Shingyun Kim plays the Soul Fighter, it is playable.
So if you guys are viewing from us from the Twitch chat, and you can try to play the Soul Fighter, and don't blame us if it's not as good as you think. So you know, it's Shingyun Kim. He's the one that makes the impossible possible, and he does it again with the Soul Fighter here that we thought we would never see for this time period that we see him.
That's so amazing. I love the Soul Fighter. But you know, maybe after this tournament, maybe I'll go up to Shinga Kim and tell him, you know, you could stop playing the Soul Fighter because you nerfed him
You can nerf it again.
Don't nerf it again. You've nerfed him enough.
Basically unplayable if he nerfs it again. So at least let the Soul Fighter mains have their moments. But Shinga Kim is probably the biggest enemy of them all. So doing a good job this time around though. Coup d'etat gets that 2 points that they crucially needed in that game 6 and game 7. They have just an equal chance as GC Busan Red to pick out the series.
Yeah, and now on camera you see both Coup d'etat and GC Busan Red, and they are serious mode. You know, there were some smiling faces before, but now if you see them, they are talking on their comms, you know, planning and serious mode. And
I like how the camera did zoom in on Hyungi Kim. He's gonna be the difference maker for GC Busan Red because he has been the least performing guy for this team, and he has to step up and play a much better game to give GC Busan Red the chance now because coup d'etat, Shinga Kim is popping off now. He is on that mode that we reminded us of 2014 and 2015, back when he was really, really good, and he's just trying to repeat that performance again, but without Hyungi Kim's contribution, it's gonna be difficult to GC Busan Red to get the victory, but we're gonna have to find out. All the stories aside, it will be the last match of the series between coup d'etat and GC Busan Red, the tag match to decide it all. We'll get the match underway. Let's get it on. And just like yesterday, we didn't expect this series to go to full set where GC Busan Red was so ahead in this early parts of the series where, you know, by the end of Game 4, just like yesterday, they were so many points ahead and we thought that coup d'etat couldn't make it this far, but 44, as you see on the scoreline, is just basically equality between the two sides right now.
Yeah, GC Busan Red was up 4-1.
Oh, the Warlock
Kim
knocking off Shinga Kim early would be crucial for this play, but just survives, and Shinga Kim has to tag out, which he does, but Juno Han goes for that chase immediately as soon as he comes out, but like I said, if you knock off Shinga Kim early in this game, within the first minute, that would have been a very likable win to GC Busan Red.
Oh, definitely, and I'm sure they talked about it. You know, let's focus on Shinga Kim.
Yeah.
Let's do offensive interference when Shinga Kim is out to get rid of him, because he is the key player that's been showing so much on coup d'etat so far.
And Juno Han was the first man to knock out, and just coming that offensive interfere so early and so aggressively might have caught him off guard, and Shinga Kim did take a lot of damage before he was tagged out.
Yeah, so basically this match is going back and forth. You know, last time GC Busan Red beat coup d'etat so fast in the first tag, and then the second tag coup d'etat beats GC Busan Red in a comfortable fashion, and now we're going back and forth. And Shinga Kim has taken so much damage already.
As soon as he gets that stun up, he uses the tab escape, then uses time distortion to get it right back, but this is another point of focus where Hyungi Kim, if he performs well, he will give a lot better chance towards his side of GC Busan Red, but without that, it'll be very tough, but reactionary 2v2 is going to be coming up. But mostly a defensive one for both sides, but Hyungi Kwon, on the world, he's done fairly well in Game 6. If he does exactly the same thing, that should give another chance towards coup d'etat to get this win.
Yeah, Shinga Kim being on Soul Fighter has healed up quite a bit right now. When he had that 5% health, now he is almost at like 40%.
Yeah.
But that's not important because GC Busan Red barely took any damage right now.
That's true. And I think the tag points right now is very even towards both sides. Two tag points being used by GC Busan Red along with coup d'etat. That's getting into the area and might be the start of the damage that Hyungi Kim is looking for. Gonna knock him down. And it's trying to be the damage, but Hyungi Kwon puts out that paper in front of his face, negating any type of damage possibilities.
Yeah, he is trying to save that tag because five seconds later, Hyungi Kwon will be forced tagged out.
But it's taking a little bit too much damage before he is forced tagged out.
Okay,
but a lot of distance being covered by coup d'etat, which is going to negate that chase opportunity. But Shinga Kim, as you say, is back out onto the field. He's going to have to look for a better performance than he did in the first time as soon as he came into their game. But the bombard being bombarded on the ground, so that was a waste of a bombard, but
nice,
didn't want from
nice
that.
Chase with the tag out from Hyungi Kim into Sungjin Choi.
Predicted that tag in from Sungjin Choi on that destroyer. Does go for that chase right away, puts him into the aerial with that damage, but Sungjin Choi is going to be relatively healthy with that heal back with the stone shield.
Yep. Yeah, he's just waiting to heal up.
But it is definitely right for both of these teams right now to take it easy and take it slow. Look for good opportunity because one crucial mistake, this other team will be able to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah, and that reflect with the drag, that was it's not uncommon with these players, but if it were me, maybe I would have gotten hit by that drag.
But stun does come out. This is what I'm talking about. The crucial mistake is going to be the stun getting hit. He's tab escape to get out of there, but time distortion used by his teammate Juno Han to get Sungjin Choi his escape back. But Shinga Kim doesn't have that same luxury where Hyungi Kwon doesn't come in for that time distortion, but Shinga Kim is going to have to live without that 15 seconds without that escape, and Sungjin Choi maybe has to take advantage of that, but he is also out of his escape already, and that's going to be just equality going, probably taking it slow once again for these next few seconds.
Yeah, that was very good interfered by Byung-Woo Kim, saving Shinga Kim when he was knocked down. He Phantom grips the destroyer away from him and lands a lightning draw, but Sungjin Choi once again healed up everything.
Shinga Kim is not going to be looking for these poke damage. It's not going to do much to the destroyer. He's going to have to look for the all-in on that continuous damage that he might be looking for. But Hyungi Kwon
force tagged out. Oh no!
It's going to be the wrong player to come in. He has a very little HP. Might have to be forced to just tag himself back in using that tag point. But probably not the right player to come out onto the field for coup d'etat.
Yeah, and Juno Han is out with almost full health. He cast the ult, but he just papers it. He papers it away.
Get cancelled by the paper.
Hyungi Kwon does have 2 tag points like you mentioned. He could tag out at any time, but let's see. He won't be.
This might be the start of it. The defensive interference coming in very nicely, negating much of the damage. That would have definitely killed off Hyungi Kwon. So good job by his teammates from coup d'etat to save him there in that instance.
good tag out by Hyung-Kwan. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
too dangerous to
It
stay
was.
in any longer. Shingyang Kim is almost at full health, the Soul Fighter.
And this
so,
and this is a key matchup though, because Shingyang Kim and Juno Han, they are the crucial carries for both of their
Ooh.
respective teams, and whoever comes out on top in this particular matchup will be likely the winner of this entire team tag. But
Oh, no, that
Ultimate is proccing, is getting a good damage.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
Hyung Kim finally making things work, putting that damage onto him. But Shingyang Kim, being the Soul Fighter that he is, gonna heal back some of that health. But Hyung Kim finally a glimpse of bright light for this guy and putting that ultimate into good use. Putting that damage onto him already.
Yep, there we go. Tags out. Sung Jin Choi comes in. Now, if you notice, Sung Jin Choi is out of his tags.
Yeah.
So he has to endure another 1 minute and 34 seconds until he is force tagged out. However, his teammates do have two interfere
yes.
points, so he won't be in, too much of a tight spot, but we'll have to see what happens.
And plus what you see here with that stone shield, he can heal himself back up if he does take a little bit of damage. So he will be relatively healthy for that next 1 minute and 15 seconds, but Byung Kim is not going to allow that time to just run out. He's going to have to use the interfere that Hyung-Kwan does have. Tries to put enough damage to finish him off, but Juno Han does come in already using that time distortion onto our Sung Jin Choi. So Hyung-Kwan has to make something work out of this, but nothing coming from it yet.
All right, all of that interfere.
Oh, the bombard coming in for Hyung Kim off the interfere. Might be good enough damage, but not enough to finish him off though. Hyung-Kwan on the slimmest of health. He does have the attack point, which he does use very smartly to get himself out, and Shin Kim is back on the floor. Oh, the Soul Fighter. Oh, so the Soul Fighter ultimate!
But it's not hurting him at all!
Against the Destroyer, he does negate that damage.
Wow.
Very cool animations though.
Yeah.
We don't see the Soul Fighter animations very much on that ultimate, but does not connect this time around.
Yeah, usually like last time during the season, we did see the Soul Fighter ult, the heal ult. But this time around, he did
use
use that ult.
onto the knockdown into the Groggy, and that's gonna be almost enough
No
damage.
interfere points, no tag points.
Yeah,
4
and-
seconds until he gets his escape back.
15 seconds is what Sung Jin Choi has to stall out. His other two teammates are very, very healthy, so it will be very good for him to stall out as much time. Shin Kim should not be allowing this time to get him to get the free tag. He has to put in the damage, but not finding much position to do so.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised that Shin Kim used that offensive ult. Usually he will, if a Soul Fighter does come out, they usually use the defensive ult, which heals you like crazy.
Yeah.
But this time around, Shin Kim being Shin Kim, decided to use that offensive ult.
Hey, but without that ultimate, he's still relatively healthy. He can find enough heals to heal himself back to full health every time he does get damaged. So now actually the time distortion coming in for the Warlock. That's a crooked time distortion in that animation. Lovely to see that. But Hyung Kim does get that stealth back onto that tab escape. So full health right now is what he's dealing with. So Shin Kim, he's going to be relatively healthy for most of this part. But
he
at this
dodged that
point,
back row chase.
but with 2 minutes left in the game ending, I think it's the point where GC Busan Red is really counting on their damage charge now.
Yeah,
because Shin Kim has taken a lot of damage that he healed back for himself.
Yeah.
So, if GC Busan Red just can keep this up without taking crucial damage from the side of Coup d'etat, they will most likely be the winner from the damage charts.
All right, now Juno Han is out of the Warlock with full health, no tag or interfere. Well, interfere doesn't matter if you're on the field, but anyways, he has to last another minute and 30 seconds.
Yep. And Juno Han will be fine with that because the one interfere coming in from both players will be the answer. But the blade, that's ultimate, putting the Juno Han. This might be the damage chart. A little bit skewed towards Coup d'etat now with that Blade Dancer ultimate hitting a half a proc of that.
Ooh, yeah, Byung Kim coming in with the tag and landing that ult was crucial.
Yes, it was, and Juno Han using that interfere from his teammate, tries to use that as defensively, but no damage going into either side quite yet. But there's one more interfere on the side of GC Busan Red, which they do use now from the Sung Jin Choi, but it is the 1 minute mark. Every teammate will get their interfere points back, which they do now. So about to use it. Juno Han ultimate is cancelled right away as soon as he procs it.
Yep, into the air. This is not looking good. 2 players are out. A lot of damage.
The interfere has to be used and gets him into that decoy, which will negate that damage. But still, Juno Han is in a very dangerous situation. He has 35 seconds with the slimmest of health that he has to somehow hold on. But it's that counter damage coming from Juno Han onto Byung Kim. And that is a play that is taking a lot of damage. He also doesn't have his tag point. So now the shift is definitely going towards GC Busan right now.
They're going full out. They've used almost all their interfere. Sang-Jin Choi is the only one with that interfere.
Yeah.
He has to make a difference before this clock runs out. 13 seconds for a force tag for both of them. 15 seconds left of the whole match.
And they're going for it. This is the damage enough to knock him out, and Byung Kim is knocked out from Juno Han, and that is enough damage coming from the interfere, and this might be the difference maker for GC Busan Red. The damage chart will definitely go towards the right side.
Yeah, 2 seconds left, and Shin Kim is trying to.
It's over. I think it's definitely over here, and from what we've seen, GC Busan Red should have definitely an edge here from the damage chart.
Yeah, and you see on the camera at the bottom,
they're
GC
happy.
Busan Red,
they're celebrating. They
are confident. They are confident.
It is very much a landslide victory in the damage chart for GC Busan Red. We cannot negate the healing that Shin Kim does on the Soul Fighter.
Exactly.
It goes too easy on us when, you know, if you're good at mathematics or not. You can kind of see when you're even with so much health possibilities available. You obviously know it's gonna go towards the one without the healer.
Yeah, throughout the whole game, GC Busan Red probably had the edge on the damage chart, but there was this one moment when Byung Kim comes in with the ult and he lands on Juno Han's with the Blade Dancer ult, like almost half health. That, you know, that could have kind of, you know, let Kurata catch up a little bit. However, you know, with the last 30 seconds, GC Busan Red going full out on Kurata, knocking them out, doing as much damage as they can, you know, gives GC Busan Red the sure win.
And just by looking at that number, we did actually see from the damage chart, we knew that Byung Kim's Blade Dancer Ultimate was the crucial difference maker, but it just seemed like they had a lot more work to cut out for them, and a lot more work to do, putting that damage that evened out all the healing that Shin Kim did for himself. So even with that Blade Dancer Ultimate, they had to do a lot more work to beat out GC Busan Red in the damage charts.
Exactly, and you know, Kurata did perform very well. It's just that Shin Kim, being the Soul Fighter with the nerf Soul Fighter, he does put in the damage, but you know, it's not as good anymore. And you know, Hyungwoo Kwon on the Warlock with such little health throughout, you know, most of the game. Yeah, you just saw Byung Kim's ult, but however, as I was saying, Hyungwoo Kwon being the Warlock, such low health, he can't interfere when he wants to put in the damage. He has to be the one to come in, do the double aerial, brand, do the damage like Juno Han is doing. However, he was always at such a low health, so
and
it
going
was
back,
too dangerous.
And going back to the Blade Dancer Ultimate, though, you know, we know that he hit both the Warlock and also the Familiar as well. But we know from the game system that the damage dealt to the Familiar does not count towards the damage chart. So that would have been the difference maker if that did count with the game regulations. But unfortunately, that did not go towards the side of Byung Kim. He does not get the double damage chart there. So that would have been the difference maker, but unfortunately, Kurata does end up losing in a very competitive tag number 7.
Yeah, but you know, Kurata, you know, like I said, they don't have second chances, but for them, they might get a second chance. They'll have to wait for the challenger teams to duke it out and come up.
And as you say, ending Kurata will be on that third match of the day against this second place teams that we're going to be facing in the next matchup coming right your way. Welcome back, everyone, to Blade and Soul Korea Finals. We had our first match of Day 6, and what a bombard of a match one it was. GC Busan Red.
Yeah.
I want to talk about GC Busan Red, but I want to talk about Juno Han more importantly. This guy, this is a different Juno Han that we haven't seen for a very long time, and he hard carried his team from the singles, from the tags, and even to the last moment of Game 7 when his team was seemingly down and could have been gone either way with being so equal, but putting in that last damage to kill off the second man to get the win. What did you think of that match?
Well, like overall the match in the beginning, the first 2 to 3 sets, it was super fast. It was going so fast. You know, GC Busan Red was sweeping Kurata, you know, up to 4-1.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, Kudeta was coming back, and they made it even 4-4, and that's when it started, slowing down, playing the full 7 sets.
Yeah.
And especially that 7 set that you just talked about, Joe, when Juno Han was going all out. Like, he's been going all out, starting with the singles when he knocked out Hyogo Kwan within like less than a minute with the Warlock against that Destroyer. When Hyogo Kwan, if you guys remember, brought out the Fury build, and he just got swept. He just got deleted.
15 seconds about.
No, I think it was maybe a little more. But yeah, like it was super fast.
I would like to say it is 15 seconds.
It's super fast. So
super fast.
Either way, Juno Han, yes, props to Juno Han. But personally, I want to give props to Shin Kyung Kim.
Oh, yes, very
bringing
much.
out that Soul Fighter and playing it up, like even with that super nerf, as I constantly mention, playing it with that skill level it's just speechless.
If you guys play Blade and Soul, you guys know Soul Fighter is not a good class.
Yeah, not
PvP.
anymore.
No,
Not
it's not a good class,
Yeah.
but he made it seem like one of the better classes out there for in this current meta, which is a complete lie that he always tells the NC Soft, which forces them to nerf it every time he plays something. So hopefully another nerf does not come to Soul Fighter, because he will be completely unplayable once that happens. But it will be the G Series. We're going to be facing off against G-Fam and G-Touring. These two teams have faced each other very much occasionally, starting from Season 2. And G-Fam, you know these guys. These are the complete representation of the non-meta composition. You know, Min Jung-ho, Wonjik Lee, Suwon Kim, all 3 classes that you see here, KFM, Blade Master, and Summoner. They're the principle of what a non-meta is supposed to be, but they somehow make it work most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And even though they are a non-meta pick, these 3 classes, they do have a good composition.
Yeah.
So this is like a non-meta composition that still works with, without being in the meta picks. So, G-Fam has been, what their goal was to, get Min Jung-ho, the girl, first girl player of BNS to go to Worlds. That was their goal.
Yeah, that was. And
let's see how they'll carry that out.
They're still not out of it quite yet. They still have a couple of steps to go before they make that happen, but they have to beat out their opposition here, which is G-Touring here. They're also a very interesting team to talk about now. They were never an interesting team, to be honest, because they've always played that textbook type of game where they do get at the wins, but it's not in the entertaining of ways. But with the addition of this new player, Young-Hoon Che from Team Unknown, coming in with that assassin, he has really just added that spark to this team that they previously did not have. So now they are no longer a Resident Sleeper team anymore.
Oh yeah, definitely not. And as you just mentioned, with the new player, Young-Hoon Che, definitely upgraded G-Touring as a whole. But for the first match, watching Lee on the Force Master? Wait, I think that might be
a graphical error.
Yeah, but watching Lee is usually the Blade Master, and we'll be going up against Kyungmin Park's
let's cut OG in some slack. FM, BM, just switch one alphabet and it just becomes like that. But it will be impossible for Wonjik Lee to become Force Master because it is not registered in his player list. He is only registered to be the Blade Master. So unless we don't know something that everybody else does, he is gonna play the Blade Master. But Wonjik Lee, like I said, will be the first man out. It's gonna be against Kyungmin Park this time around.
Yeah, on the KFM. Kyungmin Park has been playing the KFM for a long time, and he is very formidable with the KFM, but the music has changed, and it is the Blade Master. Let's get ready for the first set. Let's get it on.
Though it would have been pretty cool to see Wonjik Lee play the Force Master.
I was thinking of that too.
But unfortunately, it is the usual Blade Master, a very good one that he always does show out in the particular singles that he always does play. So Wonjik Lee out for G-Fam on the left side against Kyungmin Park on his usual KFM.
Yeah, we sometimes bash on Wonjik Lee during the tag for not performing too well. But Wonjik Lee, as I repeatedly say, is the Blade Master who beat Jung Ho Yoon's Force Master twice.
And it is an accomplishment that is worth repeating over and over again, because you do not beat a Force Master, let alone a Jung Ho Yoon fan. Wow, that is a lot of damage coming from the Blade Master. No time for Kyungmin Park to react.
Oh my god!
100-0. And casual stuff. Look at his face. That was supposed to happen.
Kyungmin Park, he is just...
Oh my word, that is exactly what we felt probably looking at the screen. We did not believe what we were seeing on the health bar, just going down on and on and off.
Yeah, and I actually had, like, if you guys saw what Youngmin Park's face looked like, I had that face, but I'm pretty sure not because of the same reason. I had that face because watching Lee, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I had that face, but you know, Youngmin Park, I don't know, but you know, unfortunately for Youngmin Park,
Let's look at the
100-0. Yeah, let's look at this.
Do we even need to comment on those?
Yeah,
Let's
so
just look
here
at
the
it.
back roll chase actually happened with the aerial, with the knockback, well, after the re-knock-up.
Yeah.
Knockback, boom, with the flock of blades, chases that with the dragon tongue, into the re-knock-up. So Youngmin Park should have tab escaped before that knock-up happened, but, you know, I don't know, Youngmin Park.
Maybe Youngmin Park underestimated the damage output that the Blade Master could have, but Tab Escape was there. He didn't use it once for this entire match, which was a very short match, to be fair. It was about, can we call that one 15 seconds cut?
I don't know. I saw like 25 seconds.
Hey, but you know, it feels.
Well, it was super fast.
It was very, very fast, and you know, watching Lee doing a very good job with GFam. It just seemed like just by looking at the two teams and from what the matches that they have played in the first 2 weeks, I would have wanted to say that G-Touring was the stronger side compared to GFam. But you know, they want to prove me wrong. That is completely fine. And Suwon Kim is a player that could do it as well. He is a very formidable player, and he's always been the carry for these other two teammates that he has for GFam. So on the KFM, he will be the one to show that he is a better KFM than what G-Touring can show out.
Yeah, and you know, you just explained Suwon Kim. Younghoon Che is also a formidable assassin, and we'll have two very well-rounded players going up against each other. And remember, guys, this is best out of 4. First team to reach 3 points will be making it up. So, you know, every single match is very important.
And these little points do very much count, and the second one will be underway. Another point will be going to one team, and it will be GFam versus G-Touring Game 2 coming right up. Let's get it on. So much cheers coming in from both sides, but as you do mention, ending, this is a best of 4, and every point does count a lot more than it does for a best of 7. So Younghoon Che getting a point back for his team will be crucial here against what is against a very strong side of Suwon Kim.
Exactly, this is best out of 4. Each point matters, and Younghoon Che faces offensive move.
And he's still safe.
And he's going with the Ice Mine. Okay.
Wow, my goodness. He's going to calculate the time to go for the initial initiate once again once he does get frozen out of that.
There we go with the chase with the Ice Mine. High wire cord. He will probably...
Unless he uses a tab escape.
Ooh, he electrifies him. Okay. Usually we see a knockdown or a pull-in.
Yep. So KFM, Suwon Kim, trying to say that tab escape for much as he can, but he does use it now. But he knows the consequences of not having a tab escape against an assassin, especially when you're against a good one like Younghoon Che. But Younghoon Che, I'm telling you, this guy can use a bomb bar like no other assassin we know. But another stun coming up. This might be the aerial cutting into the damage, but KFM, Suwon Kim is trying to put that initiate counter back onto him.
That did it, that back roll tech chase. Younghoon Che went for it, it did not connect.
Oh, the stun, the bomb bar onto the aerial. That's going to be enough damage. 7 seconds is what he has to stall out. But there's no way for him to escape that stun. And Younghoon Che, a clean finish against this KFM of Suwon Kim.
All right, well, you know, one point apiece, so we won't be going into set 4. We will now. We're gonna get ready for set 3, which is tag worth 2 points. So whichever team wins this tag will be going up and facing coup d'etat for the second seed.
And I know we're going to go to the replay ending, but I want to ask you, Younghoon Che put a lot of damage in the early parts of that when he got the initial stun onto KFM, but should have Suwon Kim use that tab escape earlier.
I knew you were going to ask that, and it was good for him to save that, because if he had to use that tab escape earlier, he would have gotten CC'd and died earlier.
That is already 50% though. That's why I wanted to ask you, and was it. I know you always say that against it, that you have to be especially careful about using your tab escapes wisely.
Especially when you only have one escape.
It is true, but you know, when you have so little health to work with, I believe that the tab escape just serves a less value. That's just what I'm thinking of it, and whether it was the right choice, in the end, Suwon Kim does lose out, but we're gonna have to continue to see in these next counterparts where where a player goes up against an assassin, whether to take the all-out damage or whether to use the trades with the tab escape early. It's still gonna be up for a question.
Well, like personally, yeah, you could be up for a question, but I made up my mind. I think what Suwon Kim did was the best situational decision that he made
Right.
to save it up. But you know, like you said, everybody has their own opinion, so you know, it could be up for question. But now we are getting ready for set 3.
Set 3 will be the tag match. We'll decide it all for this particular series between the G-Fam and G-Touring, and the G-Series matchup will end relatively quickly. But, you know, going back to that point though, I want to ask Jae-sung if I do get an opportunity to meet him once in the studio, then I'd like to ask him that question and see what his answer is.
You'll probably get the similar answer to what I gave you. But you know, you can always ask him.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
Give it a try. But
go.
yes, on screen right now we have G-Touring's Gyeongmin Park, and the music has changed, and we will be getting ready for the last match up of G-Fam and G-Touring. Let's get it on.
I'm really just
That
enjoying
cheer.
that cheer for both sides.
Yeah.
G-Fam and G-Touring, they had a long history, and they've garnered such a fan base on both sides, and it will be just equal matchup for G-Fam and G-Touring, as you know, either team can win it right now just by winning this tag.
Yep, and Min Jung-ho is out there poking Young Che with that sunflower right now.
Yeah, but Young Che is going to be looking for that bombard onto that damage, but doesn't connect this time around, but he's going to have to get that crucial stun, but it's hard to do so when you get that defensive interfere coming in from G-Fam.
Okay, the
Hold on,
reactionary.
draw.
They're both taking so much damage. Young Che as well as Min Jung-ho.
Oh,
Min
there's a
Jung-ho
lot of damage!
right now.
That is too much damage coming from that bombard from Young Che onto Min Jung-ho, which forces her to tag out immediately, and Soo-won Kim will be the next man out for G-Fam.
Yeah, Woo Bin-cha comes in with the Blade Dancer.
Yeah.
Young Che decides to tag out as well.
A surprising amount of damage going from that 2v2 reaction and interfere coming from both sides, but we didn't expect that much damage coming in. But we see the first sleeping man
he is taking a nap.
of day 6, and it is Soo-won Kim having a good little nap. But Woo Bin-cha, he knows that he has to be careful before he approaches that sleeping tiger.
Yeah. Are you done taking a nap?
We're gonna stop commentating until he wakes up.
Let's be quiet.
There we go. There we go. He heard us and he wanted to move out. So Woo Bin-cha getting a good initiate without taking any punishment from it. Lightning draw, putting in a good damage. And Soo-won Kim takes a little bit of damage, but forces Wonjik Lee to come in on that defensive interfere.
Yep, and Soo-won Kim makes that offensive with the Rising Dragon. Tab escape is used by Gyeongmin Park. KFM mirror match.
Wow, and Gyeongmin Park trying to prove who's boss with that KFM. Putting in that interfere, coming in from Young Che on the assassin, putting in a lot of damage onto Soo-won Kim, and that's going to be 50% damage already going against Soo-won Kim on that KFM.
Yeah, and it is still the mirror match right now. All Tremor tags out. Wonjik Lee comes in.
But actually Wonjik Lee, as soon as he comes in, he does get chased into the air. And KFM, Gyeongmin Park is kind of looking to do some more work on this opposition. But she goes on the aerial himself, the Wonjik Lee, puts him into the air. But the interfere coming in from Woo Bin-cha to put that lightning draw, a defensive one, putting in the damage while he is still there.
Block the blades, knocks him back.
There you go.
Defensive interfere again on G-Touring side.
And Wonjik Lee, actually taking the damage from that bombard. But Wonjik Lee forces out the interfere coming in from Min Jung-ho on the defensive end. But it still takes a lot of damage before that is done with, though.
Wonjik, I hope you tag out. I hope you don't make
he has
the
two.
mistake
He has
of
two
not
tag
tagging out.
points. He has 2 tag points that he can
There
still
we go.
spare. So it was a very smart choice for him to tag out there. So Summoner Min Jung-ho is back onto the field. And she didn't have a good time the first time she was up, but she has to have a better contribution for her team if she wants to give her team a victory here for G-Fam.
Yeah, there we go. KFM ignoring the cat, coming in, but still gets knocked down by the cat. Okay, taking some damage with that Rumble Bait.
The heal coming from the Summoner is very casual, but Gyeongmin Park tries to go for that damage, tries to negate many of that healing, but the cat tries to put in the annoyance onto the opposition. But that's actually a tag point used onto Young Che, though. The Young Che comes out using that tag points. Gyeongmin Park, he could have stalled out for the next 10 seconds or so. He would have got a free tag, but he couldn't wait that long and uses the tag points to bring Young Che back on the field.
Yeah, and Young Che probably has like 35 to 40% health right now, healing little by little.
Yep.
However, you know, Summoner Min Jung-ho, if she pops off, she can just finish off Young Che.
And we know the Summoner is about a class that can put out the burst of damage that can finish off an opposition instantly, and that 40% health approximately from Young Che will be an easy piece of cake for Min Jung-ho if she gets the right opportunity. But right now she's trying to look for the particular opportunity that we're talking about, but it's a little hard to do so with
but she's getting close. She forced him to use his tab escape, so she's going step by step right now.
So perhaps using that interfere would be the option for the side of GFAM. Trying to get the stun in, so this is his chance now. KFM trying to do work.
Dragon pulls him in.
Oh, but the defensive interfere coming in, but it takes a lot of damage before he could make that done. But the lightning draw putting in the damage onto Min Jung-ho, so a trade of damage going towards both sides. Min Jung-ho taking additional damage from the side of G Touring, and that's not even good enough damage to knock out Young Che from the interfere from Wanxing Lee.
Young Che interfered in just to die.
Oh, the hammer, and that's gonna be a lot of damage going on to Gilman Park from the summoner damage.
Wow, this is what you can do with the summoner. We got that Rumblebee in this tag match with the summoner. Tons of damage going out.
And GFAM is suddenly so much ahead in the side of G Touring, and the opposition now has one man down, and it is crucially the assassin that can be the main DPS role for this side of G Touring. But with that man knocked down, they're gonna have to look for a lot more things to do. But
Suwon
Kim putting in that combo onto him, forcing out the defensive interfere now.
Triple kick lands again. Also on Kim this time around.
Yep, and Wanxing Lee does come back out using that tag point. So now G5 is all out of their tag points except Wanxing Lee. He can use that last tag point for himself. But G Touring, on the other hand, also only has one tag point to work with. The tag point is going to be used, but Wanxing Lee is still out on the field.
Yeah, it looks overall more comfortable for GFAM right now. There we go.
The Blade Master ultimate hitting about 2.5 stacks of that. And Suwon Kim finally using that last tag point out to bring Suwon Kim back on the field. The ultimate is going to be looking to make some work. And that is like the ultimate. That's the counter ult coming in for Suwon Kim. That actually connects onto the opposition KFM. That is going to be the second man out for G Touring, and Woo Min Cha is the last man standing.
And let me remind you guys, if you lose from here, you're going home. Whether it be GFAM or G Touring, right now it looks more like G Touring will be going home.
Wow, we didn't expect GFAM to put out such a fight, and Min Jung-ho, who has played poorly for the first appearance that she made in this tag, came out for the second appearance and did much better, contributing for her team. And that might have been the beginning for it all, but Woo Min Cha is getting out to the field, trying to put in the aerial, the second aerial, most likely coming in away, and that is going to be the lightning draw. Doesn't come up, but it's going to put in the Phantom Grip and freeze him up as well.
Yeah, Suwon Kim uses a mid-frost,
this is stun on from the Suwon Kim, and this is underground, and there's no escape, and this is going to be the continuous amount of damage onto the aerial, to the continuous damage, and it doesn't knock down, doesn't happen, another aerial, and that will be the finish for the side of GFAM, and they will move on to this next round.
And they seem very happy. It seems as if they've been practicing, because usually it's either Suwon Kim or Wanxing Lee getting knocked off most of the time during tags because they get greedy. However, this time around, it did not work out for G Touring.
And perhaps that's probably the best GFAM has played in a tag match for a very long time. It was probably the most complete, the most mistake-free that GFAM has shown us in a very long time. And it is a very surprising thing. But they definitely deservedly make it up to the next round against their next opposition.
Yeah, and I love watching all the teams, but GFAM with this special non-meta composition pick, and them being so aggressive like 90% of the time, it's so fun to watch this team play.
And you guys can now Twitch chat cheer for the non-meta. Let's hail it high, and because they've won out against a very strong G Touring side, and their next opponent is Wu Kudeta, but definitely a tougher opposition. But by the way they've shown themselves against GC Busan Red, they don't seem like the strongest team in the tournament right now. So GFAM are probably not going to count themselves out quite just yet. They're going to have to look for their opportunities and hopefully have a good chance against Kudeta.
And this match was done and over, but now the next matchup against Kudeta versus GFAM, it will be best out of 7. Yeah, that counter ult right now.
So
that CC
amazing.
And then the ult was...
Oh my goodness.
He dodged that, he CC'd him while he was ulting, and then he countered that ult with his ult.
Hey, Andy, I know you're not a favoritism towards any player, but I know that you talked to Suwon Kim before the game and said and you wanted him to hard carry. He literally listened to your every word and made the hard carry possible. But and with the second match underway, it's going to be over with GFAM taking the win over G Touring. But that just means they're going to have to face their next opposition, which is going to be Kudeta, which is going to be coming after the commercial break. But we will be back after a short break to bring you GFAM versus Kudeta to decide who will be the number 2 seed from Group B to make it to the semifinals. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to Blade and Soul Korea Finals. We've gone through 2 matches in day 6, and all the matches have been really, really great. And the first match, of course, with Kudeta facing up against GC Busan Red, we expected a close match, and we thought it would be a very high-quality Blade and Soul, and it did prove to us that it really was. But I think the second series was really the surprise, with G-Fam doing surprisingly better than we have seen them before.
Yeah, exactly what you said, Joel. With G-Touring's new member, Young-Hoon Che, they've been performing so well.
They did.
And, to be honest, even though I do like both teams, with the new member added onto G-Touring, I thought they might have a little bit more of an advantage against G-Fam. However, G-Fam came out to beat the winners, and I usually never feel this way, but I really, I feel bad, I feel sad that, the second series was not best out of 7.
Oh, yeah, but
if
actually
there was a best out of 7, it would have been so much better.
And that last tag match we saw in Game 3 to decide it all was quite of an excitement that we saw. G-Fam popped off like nobody else in the world, and they did really, really well against the strong side of G-Touring. They were not weak by any means, and it just G-Fam performing a lot better and practicing. And their preparation really came to fruition as they got the win. Now they're onto the stage now against another stronger side we know as Kudeta. Kudeta did fairly well against GC Busan Red in the first series of day 6. But the point of it is, Shingun Kim on the Soul Fighter, which he's most likely going to stick to. And whether he can overcome that opposition that Shingun Kim is, if anybody from G-Fam can do that, that will be the key point to really look out for.
Yeah, exactly. And, on screen right now, we have G-Fam. We've just seen them play right before we went to commercial. And Kudeta, we also seen them play today. Unfortunately, like you said, Joe, the first match was very close. It went to the full 7 sets. So, Shingyun Kim, Hyuk Kwan, and Byung-Woo Kim, they're warmed up. Same thing with G-Fam. They're both warmed up. And now we will be going into the best out of 7 first team to reach 6 points.
So definitely Kudeta has to play the endurance game now. They've already played the best of 7s already. It's a full set even. And so they're going to have to play that once again, so whether their stamina comes to bite them in the head, we have to find out. But G-Fam, after just a 3-game series that they had against their opposition with G-Touring, they're out for this best of 7 right after that short break. So all the endurance tests definitely for these two teams to whether they can pull out their full potential for this best of 7.
Yeah, and on screen now we have Kudeta with the cute Byung-Woo Kim's Blade Dancer solo pick on that class. But anyways, for both the teams, like you mentioned, we did come back from a short commercial break. So let's hope that both the teams didn't run out of the adrenaline that they had. Especially G-Fam for, winning and coming up and having a chance to get, seeded for the second seed, whereas, Kudeta lost to the winning team. However, they still have to fight for the second seed. If you lose, now you're done. You don't have a chance to go to the Korea Finals, semifinals.
And semifinals is what they're really trying to look for. And
this first set.
I was really just going to talk about this with the hard carries of both teams being G-Fam with Suwon Kim and Shingun Kim for Kudeta. These two guys have to be the statement makers, and it's all about the hard carries for today's matches in day 6. And we saw Juno Han popping off on GC Busan Red. We saw Suwon Kim doing extremely well. Shingun Kim did well, but also the Young-Hoon Che, who was supposed to be the hard carry, didn't do as much as we previously saw from him, which might have led to the loss that G-Touring did face. So this game 1 will be a very important factor as to who gets their early lead, but also gets a slight advantage in the psychological realms as well. But we are going to find out who that first point is going to be going to. Either G-Fam or Kudeta is going to be game 1, the first singles coming right your way. Let's get it on. Match between G-Fam and Kudeta, it's going to be a very important indicator as to who the stronger team is at the current state, because a lot of factors are going to be into the play with the endurance, the stamina, the fatigue, but also their innate talents as well. But Suwon Kim, Shingun Kim, they are the hard carries of their respective teams, and Suwon Kim's going to get the first initial strike.
He dodges that devastating knockback from Suwon Kim. I mean, Shingun Kim and Suwon Kim is CC right now.
This is the beginning of the Soul Fighter poke damage into the 100 and 0. That is the instant knockout. Oh my god. goodness!
You know, like when you handed it off to me, I was gonna say, you know, Soo Kim is the KFM, the original, you know, the OG, and so what Shinga Kim is playing, the Soul Fighter, is, you know, a hybrid, half KFM, half Force Master. So I was gonna say, you know, will the hybrid win or will the original win? But then before I even said that, it was over.
Are you sure? Are you sure the Soul Fighter's nerfed? That was a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely nerfed.
That is a lot of damage going into Shinga Kim's favor, but I want to look at the replay here. I want to talk less and really just see.
Soo Kim actually dodged Shinga Kim's tab escape knockback right here.
Yeah.
Yes, with the sidestep. So it was looking good, but he was also out of tab escape, and you don't, you know, when you're both out.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
30,
I love it.
33 combo was the indicator. It happened in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, coup d'etat. There's nothing to speak of as the sign from the fans really to say, but Shinga Kim, I think he's about the happiest man in the world after that play, but he can't be happy about it just too much yet. He has a lot more games to go along with his teammates from coup d'etat. They only have 1-0 up in this point advantage that they have, but they have so many points left to go in this best of 7, so a long way going towards these two teams.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's best out of 7. You know, to the losing team, 1 single point may not matter too much, even for the winning team as well. But if you get knocked out like that, like 100-0 with the Soul Fighter, whew, you know, you might get a little shaken up. But you know, for the second match, we have Wanshik Lee versus Byung Kim.
And I think this matchup especially is an interesting one because we don't know too much about their current power levels. Wanshik Lee and Byung Kim, of course, they contributed for their teammates in the actual tag matches when it did come, but in the singles, neither of these players really showed too much that we can really garner off of that and really just calculate what their power level is right now. But we're gonna see an indication of that definitely in game 2 as to see which of them is the stronger one.
Yeah, and now we are getting ready. The music has changed. Wanshik Lee versus Byung Kim. Let's get it on.
After such an explosive game 1, we are trying to settle down for this next game 2, and Wanshik Lee on the Blade Master has to be the one to garner them another point for the start of G-Fan, but this time it's against Byung Kim on the Blade Dancer for coup d'etat.
Yep, so the Blades go up against Blade Dancer and the Blade Master. Who will win, the Master or the Dancer?
And there's always been an argument as to, you know, because they're so similar in their characteristic with the Blade Master and Blade Dancer, they're essentially just a different race if they actually played the game. But there's always been an argument as to which class is the better Blade wielder. So, gonna get a part of that question answered with this matchup here.
There we go. He's not using his blocker blades, even though the Blade Dancer held him for a little, quite a while with that Phantom Grip.
Second aerial coming in from Byung Kim on that Blade Dancer. No controlling damage coming from that. The stun actually does come up. Into another aerial.
He is using all his CCs right now. Wanshik Lee is saving that tab escape very soon.
There we go.
The tab escape is used.
Finally used, and just Wanshik Lee is what he was waiting for. This is a repeat performance of this previous series that he showed from 100-0 that he showed in the previous singles that he did against G20. He's trying to do it again, but not to the full extent that he did in the previous time.
All right, this time around he does use the Flock of Blades escapes. But, you know, Wanshik Lee was just like dragon tonguing him. He's like, let's see when you're going to tab escape.
And definitely a dragon tongue was what we saw in that previous series. That finished off the opposition, but it's going to be another stun. Going up to the aerial, there's no escape for Wanshik Lee now. The second aerial,
but
will that be just enough damage to finish him off? But just enough. Okay, he lives. Just lives. And he does get his tab escape back, so Wanshik Lee, it was a very close call. We even thought that it was going to be very inches of difference whether he was going to survive that one.
I was going to call that out. He's just going to walk up to him and lightning draw.
The casual lightning draw to finish him off from distance. And that was Byung Kim picking out the second point.
I'm pretty sure he thought of that too, so he wanted to kind of, you know, rush in there, but to dodge that, but you know, he was at the wall. And
I love the smiles from these two players because those two smiles mean very different things. You know, Byung Kim, he's very happy about his cheese play that he did with that lightning draw, but I'm sure Wanshik Lee, being a very experienced player that he is, probably expected that coming. But There was no running away from that when you have that range from the lightning draw going just to the distance that he was in. So
Yeah, well, in the beginning, I don't know, Wang Xingli saved up his flock of blades here, right? Oh, they just skipped it.
It was
They
before that,
skipped it.
yes.
Yeah, they skipped it, but here he probably, you know, Wang Xingli does save his tab escape. It was well played.
Yeah.
Did not take too much damage, like 40% damage. Here he'll use the tab escape and then counter aerial Byung-Woo Kim. Right here, there we go. So they were trading escapes, but here that dragon tongue damage. He's like, hey Byung-Woo, when are you gonna tab escape?
Wang Xingli was trying to do the same thing that in the previous series, just finishing off his opponent with the dragon tongue, going for 100-0. But you know, that's why he was waiting for the lightning draw to come out, because after the lightning draw, he knew Byung-Woo Kim had nothing else to throw at him. So using the tab escape then was a little bit of a late decision, but he had to do that nonetheless if he was gonna go for the all-in. But that funny lightning draw, it was definitely a cheese play for sure.
The girl in the middle on the phone, it said "병기백이 다." It means, how do you say "da" in English? But anyways, it was a lightning draw. Use lightning draw or something with like an exclamation mark, kind of. Like she was expressing how the blade dancer finished off Wang Xingli at the end with walking up to him and just using a single lightning draw at the tip, hitting Wang Xingli and finishing him off. And it, it was expected.
And that was exactly what
happened.
happened.
It was funny though.
Yeah, but game
it was
3,
funny.
It's going to be the important one, because GFAM, if they get a win right here, they would get 2 points back to themselves, which would get it to even against Coup d'etat. But it's going to be a tough one, because 2 games already being lost to Coup d'etat is already a loss of momentum for the side of GFAM. But this is a good chance for it to regain that momentum back onto their favor.
Exactly, and now we will, like you said, be getting ready for the third set, which is tag worth 2 points. It is best out of 7. First team to reach 6 points, and Coup d'etat is up 2-0 right now.
And Coup d'etat is up 2-0, and they should be very comfortable. But at the same time, if they let their guards down, that will be their downfall for sure. But we will go right on to game 3, the first tag in this best of 7 between GFAM and Coup d'etat. We will get the match going right underway. Let's get it on. Huge support going towards both sides as GFAM and Coup d'etat get ready to start their game 3, the first tag, which will be the more important match of the series.
Yeah, and Soo-Won Kim and Shingan Kim out first like the first singles, and Soo-Won Kim taking the damage from Shingan Kim.
And Shingan Kim forces out the defensive interfere from Wang Xingli from the side of GFAM. Just a defensive effort for sure, but
double!
Soo-Won Kim putting in that effort onto that stun onto Shingan Kim. Brings in that second interfere, trying to use that as an offensive part, but Hyung-Kwon comes in for that defensive one. While Shingan Kim takes a little bit damage. Yeah, the triple kick does come up with a stun, and going to force out the interfere once again from Coup d'etat, using the Phantom Grip to just throw away Soo-Won Kim away from Shingan Kim's all the damage that could have gone out.
Yeah, and if you notice, Hyung-Kwon dropped the Warlock and came in with the Destroyer, so we have Destroyer and Blade Dancer on Coup d'etat. Right now.
Definitely 2 support role we've seen, but the damage that can come out from the Warlock. But Soo-Won Kim on the KFM is trying to stick out as long as he can, put a lot of damage onto their opposition, but it's already forcing Coup d'etat to use their first tag point.
Reactionary 2v2.
Summoner. This is what we've seen from before. The Summoner can put out a lot of damage if the opportunity is given, and Soo-Won Kim is always the initiator of that chain CC onto that damage from the Summoner, and he's doing it again.
Yeah, 30 seconds left for Soo-Won Kim to be forced tagged out, and Byung-Woo Kim comes in with the tag. They've already used 2 tag points on Coup d'etat side.
Immediate lightning draw coming in, but the interfere coming in from Wang Xingli with Min Jung-ho out on the field. So 1 point of tag points being used by GFAM, whereas 2 points Coup d'etat has used already. So a resource advantage right now towards GFAM, but you're gonna have to look for the damage advantage as well. They're taking a lot of damage from the Soul Fighter. Skills is coming up, and Min Jung-ho takes a lot of damage. She does heal back some of that health, but Byung-Woo Kim with that interfere coming from Shingan Kim was that crucial damage going towards her opposition.
Yeah, Soo-Won Kim also came in.
The Summoner damage.
Oh my gosh, the Summoner is doing work right now, forcing them. They all have used 1 tag point each on Coup d'etat side.
Hey, but Min Jung-ho has been doing really well. Before I say that she is tagged out, just in time before she takes the extent of that damage from Shinga Kim, but Won Shik Lee is back out onto the field. It takes a lot of damage into the air from Shinga Kim. It's going to be taking more damage that he can react nothing to. He has no escape that he can use into his advantage, but
he used Flocka Blades and Tab Escape at the same time.
Oh, that was a mistake by Won Shik Lee, to be sure, but Shinga Kim are getting onto the startled, but Shinga Kim taking a lot of damage from the interfere reactionary one, coming in the defensive end from the side of coup d'etat, saving Shinga Kim from just a little more damage that he could have taken.
Yeah, but Hyogo Kwan's good defensive interference.
Oh, the Camp Fu Master.
No. All right, Shinga Kim right now. Backing up, he does have his tab escape back, so he will make his move against Min Jung-ho. There we go.
And clearly we see both sides going very aggressively towards their opposition and try to put in as much damage as possible. Suwon Kim is taking the series of damage as soon as he's tagged in, and Shinga Kim heals himself back while dealing the damage towards his opposition of Suwon Kim. Shinga Kim doing so well though. Every time he sees an opponent, he puts out the damage without mistakes.
Look at all this mobility for both of them.
It's true, and Suwon Kim forces out the interfere coming in from Yeonu Kim with a lightning draw. Tries to negate his positioning against Shinga Kim, but saving a good amount of damage that could have gone to Shinga Kim.
Yeah, so right now, all their tag and interfere are even. Everybody has one. Yeah, everybody has one. Shinga Kim has 5 seconds left for the force tag. Will Suwon Kim try to tag?
Oh, this is the beginning of Shinga Kim's damage output. It's going to be force tag. Force tag is coming out.
There we go.
Suwon Kim is out on the KFM with Hyogo Kwan on the destroyer, but Suwon Kim is on the slimmest of health. He might have to use that tag point if he gets the chance to. He does have a chance now, but he does go in aggressively. This might be a mistake towards his part, but Hyogo Kwan can't capitalize on this quite yet. The knockback does happen. Suwon Kim still stays on the ground.
Used at the perfect timing.
And Hyogo Kwan, he has to look for the opportunity. He does tag out just in time. Won Shik Lee does come back out onto field. Hyogo Kwan spins around, tries to look for the opportunity, but Won Shik Lee is trying to look for that damage output that he can get, but it goes onto the aerial. Shinga Kim is going to come back onto the field, putting the ultimate, trying to put that damage in. That's good enough to finish out Won Shik Lee in an instant. And Suwon Kim is back out onto the field. Good chain of ultimates there.
Yeah, Suwon Kim is no tag point right now. He cannot tag out, and he is
the lightning
out.
Draw finishing off. And this might be the start of the end for G-Fam as coup d'etat gets 2 immediate kills back to back.
Yeah, and Min Jung-ho is out on the field all alone. She has a tag point, but she cannot tag out because there's no one to be trading places with. Will Min Jung-ho do a 3v1?
And how things change in such an instant where it all started off with the knockout from Yeonu Kim onto Shinga Kim using that free ultimate that he had with the Soul Fighter. It was an easy target to go with, and then knocked off Suwon Kim in an instant. Won Shik Lee had very little HP to work with, but he's the second man to be knocked out from that lightning draw. So immediate change of flow. Now going towards the over the favor of coup d'etat, but the blade&soul ultimate does not connect this time around. Min Jung-ho has in a very dangerous situation. She's gonna have to stick out as much as she can, but it's very unlikely at this situation. Shinga Kim will be the one to finish her off, and G-Fam will be eliminated from the Korea Finals and might not have enough fighting points to make it to the World Championship.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Coup d'etat is up 4-0 right now. It's not over yet. If G-Fam wins out the rest of the game, or maybe just they could give up one singles that is coming up out of the 2. So set 4 and set 5 will be singles worth 1 point. But if they lose both of the singles, coup d'etat will just sweep them 6-0.
And losing that game 3 was so crucial for these guys. You know that how even these teams both were, but it doesn't matter if you're even during the process, but the result-oriented fact is they're up 4-0 now, coup d'etat. And that's a comfortable lead to really push yourself with. And we saw a clean sweep yesterday from the side of IDES, putting a 6-0 win over their opposition. So if coup d'etat can do this again, we might not even have another tag match to go with.
That would disappoint me so much. Like, I love watching these games. And when G-Fam, their performance has leveled up, as well as Shinga Kim bringing out the Soul Fighter, making things more exciting. I love it, and I want this round or this series to go to the full 7 sets. So even though I'm taking sides now because G-Fam has 0 points, let G-Fam take a couple rounds so we can see more matches.
And you saw the free ultimate that the Soul Fighter had from the easy knockup that his teammate provided for him, and just in the beginning of the lightning draw, finish off the second man. But like you say, we also want to root for the underdogs, and 4-0 down GFAM still has a chance. They still can win the rest of the game and have enough points to beat out Coup d'etat in the end, but telling you, but this momentum plays such a big part in this best of sevens when you have 4-0 advantage and you are seemingly the better team, the stronger team going into this series. You have all the confidence in the world that you can just finish it out in a clean sweep, but GFAM really gonna have to fight to their toes to not let that happen.
Yeah, I hope GFAM could keep their cool, concentrate and, take at least 1 point away from the 2 singles that they will be going on. And Min Jung-ho is out for singles with the Summoner against Hyegu Kwan on the Destroyer.
But to be fair, Min Jung-ho has been performing much better than her usual self, and I think she did overcome that stage fright that she has mentioned in her interviews, that she does get nervous when she does come into the competition. Part of the play, but just from the tag appearances that she's shown, she's done really, really well, and I think all the credit should go to her, and she should have a very good competitive play against Hyegu Kwan on that Destroyer.
Yeah, we'll have to see. For all of you Summoner fans out there, finally we see a Summoner in singles, and the music has changed, and we will be getting into set 4. Min Jung-ho Summoner versus Hyegu Kwan's Destroyer. Let's get it on.
Hear a lot of cheers going towards these players, but especially towards GFAM, because everybody wants to root for the underdogs. And they will also like to see the first female blade&soul player in the World Championship. But if GFAM loses out on this one and they end up as the quarterfinalists, it just makes it more tough for them because they have not garnered for themselves enough fighting points to advance. But GFAM right now,
Cat's trying hard, but he does have that Ember Stomp down.
Ember Stomp is coming up. The Hyegu Kwan does put him in another stun. She has to get out of it with the Counter Scheme.
There we go,
finally uses it, but perhaps a little bit late because the Judgment Cleave combo, a few stacks of that did come through before she did use that Tab Escape, but Hyegu Kwan is going to be the stun, and it's going to be another point going towards Coup d'etat. 5-0. One more point will be the clean sweep for Coup d'etat, and Min Jung-ho looks very startled and kind of trying to find the answer to what the answer for Coup d'etat is, but this team hasn't found it quite yet.
Yeah, not quite yet, but this may be now potentially the last match of this series.
But it's still possible for GFAM to win out this series if they win this Game 5, Game 6, and Game 7. If they do win out all those matches, that will be 6 points, and that will be good enough to beat out Coup d'etat. But if I was in that player's shoes, obviously I would feel all the pressure putting down on my shoulders, and that is something that you have to overcome as a professional gamer, but it's just sometimes really tough to do when you're up against such a strong side that we know as Coup d'etat.
And especially Hyegu Kwan, he has previously won in singles. He was a champion last year, so not with the Destroyer, however, he is still a formidable Destroyer, as we just saw. And unfortunately for Min Jung-ho, she did quite a lot of damage to Hyegu Kwan. He healed up a lot, but at the end, when you're out of escapes and the cat can't do anything on top of that Ember Stomp, you're gonna end up dying.
And a lot of people are, you see all the cell phone videos talking about the golden tunas, what they are. So they like the fish meta just as we do. So the fish meta isn't over quite yet. But Coup d'etat, they just need one more point, and that will be good enough to finish out this series. But the important part of this is that GFAM, they have to find some kind of answer. They have to do it one by one, but they can't afford to lose any more matches from now.
Yeah, we'll have to see who will be coming out for potentially the last match. If they lose the singles, Coup d'etat will sweep GFAM 6-0, taking the second seed into the semifinals of Korea Finals.
And Group B semifinalists have been decided one by one, but we already got the GC Busan Red who already made their way and are comfortably waiting in that spot, but Coup d'etat is looking to be the second team to do so. Just by winning out this next match will be enough to do that. And Game 6, we're gonna see who will make it, but One Sheik Lee is gonna be the hero or the GOAT for GFAM, because if he wins this one, it just gives one slide of hope over to GFAM. But if he just loses, and it is all over.
Yep, it is all over, and I am very sad to just even say it might be over. But it is potentially the last match if Byung-Ho Kim, the Blade Dancer, takes the victory against Won-Shik Lee, the Blade Master.
And to say Game 6 could potentially be the last set. This Game 5 actually for this last singles will be coming up between GFAM and Coup d'etat. The Blade wielders from both sides will be looking for a win to give their team a comfortable lead that they really wanted. So let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. I mean, but it is fair to say, ending, is that GFAM did not play at a level that they should be clean swept by Coup d'etat. I think they performed a lot better. They showed very many glimpses of surprising moments against G-Torrent, but obviously they're up against a different side. Now, Won-Shik Lee has to be the last hope for this team against the Blade Master, with facing off against the Blade Dancer with Byung-Ho Kim. They fought against each other last time around, and Byung-Ho Kim did win out that one, so the better blade wielder was Byung-Ho Kim. Whether Won-Shik can do it again, we have to see.
Yeah, we'll see if Byung-Ho Kim is able to end this set with that lightning draw again, or if Won-Shik Lee will come back and retaliate and beat. Oh no,
the lightning draw happens. This is a chance for Won-Shik Lee now. He did use that lightning arrows, which is gonna give him a signal to go for that all in. But Byung-Ho Kim, he's knowing that strategy now. He's keeping his distance away from Won-Shik Lee.
There we go. He's making his move, but he's gonna walk out.
Just enough distance putting him up, but Byung-Ho Kim, he knows the strategy. The same thing will not work twice against him. The Phantom Grip does come up, and this might be it for Won-Shik Lee. He does go over the aerial. The second aerial most likely going to come up. Whether he will use the lightning draw is not available. It's still on cooldown, so Won-Shik Lee is alive for now, but just has to find something else. I'm pretty sure the same strat is not going to work against this guy again.
Won-Shik Lee does have his tap escape. Will he be finished with
no,
the lightning draw? It's not like good. He has his
draw, and that is it for GFAM. They are officially eliminated from Korea Finals as the quarterfinalists, and all the calculations aside, they did really, really well, and they put up a lot of effort, put up a lot of fight against these long weeks that they have fought in this Korea Finals. But unfortunately to say, GFAM is officially out of the tournament, and it's looking like they will not have enough fighting points to make it to World Championship.
Yeah, we will have to actually calculate the fighting points, so that will be later on, and like you said, Joel, they might not have it, they might. But there are other teams that have more than GFAM that are still going up to the semifinals to receive more fighting points, even though they don't be the top two teams. So,
exactly
like you
what
said,
I'm saying,
like you said, they probably won't end up making it up. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I mean, just like I kind of did the calculation in my head, but GC Busan Blue 2,000 fighting points, Coup d'etat second place, having made it to two finals, one final and one semifinal. That is already more points than GFAM has already garnered, but if you lose to Coup d'etat and Coup d'etat makes it to semifinals, that is already enough points that is surely guaranteed you over GFAM. So GFAM, just by my calculation, my humble one at best, but it's gonna be very hard for them to make it to World Championship.
Exactly. Like if they wanted to, have a chance of making it into the Worlds with fighting points, they should have at least placed at least third, maybe, hoping, or second, to receive a lot of fighting points, even though they don't place first or second, to add up their fighting points from season 1, 2, and the Korea Finals. But them being knocked out already and not being able to make it to the semifinals, they might not have a chance, like you said.
It's probably gonna be the case, but you saw on the screen a camera showing GC Busan Red players waving at the Coup d'etat. We will be waiting for you in the semifinals, and they are already waiting and already just ready to have that next round underway. But we are going to finish our broadcast for today, and we will be back for the next week, which is going to be the results showing here. GC Busan Red and Coup d'etat will be your semifinalists from Group B. Along with Group A, we saw GC Busan Blue and IDEPS making it to the semifinals. So we're going to see those four teams next week, starting the semifinals that will start 1200 Korean Standard Time next Saturday.
Yeah, and if you guys remember, GC Busan Blue and Red, Coup d'etat items, they're all four teams from the champion stage.
It is,
and they ended up making it into the semifinals. So even though the challenge stage teams did fight it off and they showed us some retaliation, however, there might have been a little bit of a skill difference. And next week on the screen right now, we do have the two best out of 7s, GC Busan Blue versus Coup d'etat, GC Busan Red versus IDES.
So they will face the opposition of the groups that they were in.
Yeah.
So GC Busan Blue will not face IDEPS again. They will face the Group B
Yes.
opposition with
Yeah.
Coup d'etat, and GC Busan Red are facing off against IDEPS. But the left side seemingly, we're guessing to be the stronger side, so we might get a GC Busan Derby once again back in the finals. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I am so excited to see it. And, you know, the two GC Busans always, you know, striving for victory. It'll be cool if both the GC Busan make it to the Worlds and, you know, decide, you know, maybe Coup d'etat or IDES with the final points to make it. But, you know, who knows what's going to happen. All 4 teams that made it up to the semifinals are super good, super formidable. And, you know, I'm very excited for next week.
So you will now know that the 4 teams in the semifinals will be the ones who will be the candidates going to the World Championship. We're going to find out more details about that later. Semifinals coming to you next week, 1200 Korean Standard Time on Saturday. Join back with us, and we will continue our Blade and Soul action then. So we'll see you around.